What could make the mad lad that is Kongu way cooler? A sick jacket and some snazzy shoes, of course. Today, let's take a look at a mock by Patrick Biggs where he revamps Kongu and makes him look incredible. We'll talk about some of the clever ideas in this mock, some of the nice part usages, cool techniques, as well as some of the inspiration behind the build and how it could maybe inspire your own mocks too. Let's go. So right off the bat, if we're going to talk about nice part usages, we should talk about the jacket that Kongu has. Patrick has used some of the Tohunga arms from the McDonald's Matoran Kongu set, and kind of used the arms to design this really snazzy looking collar. And then we can see that he's used some of these dinosaur tail pieces and placed one end into the natural gaps that form in the Tohunga hand. And, yes, there's no actual connection here, but it does form this really beautiful transition. But the actual connection is a little bit lower down, where we can see here that he's used one of these T-bar pieces here to actually embed it into the design, and he's used a few different kind of system snot pieces and things to achieve that there. I don't know, I think that's such a nice transition, and it mimics the look of real clothing very, very well. So these dino pieces actually come in quite a few different sets, everything from Ninjago to some more obscure themes like Lego Trolls and different things like that. So if you don't have any, I recommend grabbing some. The shoe design itself on this mock is just so cool. Using these grill slope pieces as kind of like a shoelace design of sorts is genius. And then everything from the colors to the sort of lip at the top here, as well as some of the other kind of like smoother textures and shaping, it just makes this look so dynamic and so accurate and just so awesome. This whole overall aesthetic, from the shoes to the jacket, was actually inspired by Miles Morales from Into the Spider-Verse. When you compare the two like this, you can pretty much see the inspiration. So speaking to Patrick in person at Brick Fair, Virginia, he said that he just absolutely loved the movie, which is understandable. It's such a good movie. And he just really liked the look of Miles in the movie, and it just kind of made sense to translate that into Bionicle. And, man, it does work pretty well, and he absolutely pulled it off. And, I don't know, I think it's such a clever idea to revamp older characters that you like and kind of spice them up with a new and unique design like this. Adding cool clothing and cool shoes and stuff, honestly, it just makes it so cool. And the idea of cool shoes and a nice jacket on a Bionicle, I think all mocks could benefit from that idea. So, definitely something to consider if you're making something. Nice thinking, Patrick. And Mr. Biggs is no stranger to clothing on his mocks. He's built all sorts of dudes with different coats and other clothing items as well. And all of these are also very incredibly well-designed mocks, but we're not talking about them in this video. But still, I really like the idea of seeing someone experiment with so many different ways of designing clothing techniques on a mock, and kind of almost letting that dictate a bit of kind of a building style for Patrick, although I think he has a couple different building styles, but also kind of letting this sort of repetition help improve each new clothing item on each new mock. I don't know, I love the idea of not letting a design rest, just sort of continuously building something that you like in new and unique ways, and then kind of perfecting this idea the more you go, until you get to a mock like this, Kongu here, where the clothing just looks exquisite. I don't know, I think that's such a cool idea. Never let an idea rest. Keep advancing it until you can perfect it. That's just such a great way to grow as a builder. Go, Patrick! I also love the use of these sort of like heart element pieces on the torso. Now these come in some different Friends sets, as well as some awesome Monkey Kid sets as well. So there's a couple different ways of getting them. And I don't know, this area here, I feel like it could have easily just been teal tiles. You didn't necessarily need to use the heart elements. But I don't know, I like that he used this, because I feel like it could be interpreted as like a design on his shirt, or maybe just sort of wrinkles in the shirt, or even some like rock hard abs, it could be many things. There's something about this, it's a very subtle thing, but I think it adds a surprising amount of detail, and it just sort of works. Pieces like this are actually pretty easy to come by, whether that's, if you pick up like a dot set or something, you can get pretty similar pieces for actually pretty cheap. So I highly recommend you grab some and maybe play around with these if you haven't already. It's also really nice to see how Patrick has integrated different system pieces with different Bionicle parts to create some of the nice details like the belt that he's got here. And of course, some of these system pieces have also been used on the jacket as well. And I don't know, it's just always a pleasure seeing system be just so flawlessly worked into the different Bionicle pieces here. Just is expertly done, so go, Patrick. Also, the brick-built crossbow is a nice touch, especially since it's a bit of a callback to Kongu and Nika, which, of course, this is who this is meant to be after all. And I love the idea of using this translucent part for kind of like a cool energy arrow effect. I love it. So once again, go, Patrick. And Speaking of Go Patrick, go follow Patrick on social media and check out some of the other incredible mocks that he's made. He's a really cool guy and he deserves all the love that you can give him. There's also links in the description below to everything else I spoke about in this video, his stuff, and lots more, so check that out if you can. Hope you enjoyed this deep dive into one of his mocks and learned a thing or two and got a little bit inspired as well. We'll have more of these soon. Thanks for watching, happy building, and bye for now.